Have you ever just wanted on a whim to get a wife and child and save the world? Have you ever had to lie about your whole identity? Do you want a telepathic daughter? We're going to talk about all of this here on Systematic Geekology. We are the priests to the geeks. I am joined with Christian Ashley and Keno Cannady. How's it going, guys?
It's going well. This is going to be exciting.
It
Oh
is. This
yeah.
is I love this anime so much that we're going to be talking about. I am also your host, Elizabeth Pingeling and Clyde. So before we jump into, if you guys haven't figured out what we're talking about with my very vague description, we're talking about Spy Family, the best family, the ultimate family, the family built on lies and mistrust, and maybe a little bit of love. But before we jump in, what have you guys been geeking out on lately?
I started because I've seen parts 4 through 6, but I'm starting from the very beginning of Lupin the Third. I started the first series the other day.
Spy Family? You said Lupin the Third. Are you on the right
Lupin the
anime?
Third. You asked what I was geeking out on.
Oh my gosh, guys, I am so tired. I was like, I already forgot. Oh wow, I'm so good. I was like, Lupin, that's another like agent guy. I am the worst right now, but you can tell this episode's gonna be just completely unfiltered. Kino, what have you been geeking out
Oh
on?
my gosh, no, it's cool. I happen to find Hell's Paradise.
That's a good one.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, it's so good. This is another anime that I was like, I have to read the manga because I can't just be waiting to it to drop. So this is
Hmm.
another convert for me.
You have to let me know how the manga goes because I'm patiently waiting for season 2.
Gosh, I'm so
So I've been geeking out on the Rising of the Shield Hero. I think that's the proper name for it. It's been out for a little bit. It has 3 seasons. And it's just kind of like a RPG but like fantasy era, but not. It's real. I'll explain it more in the recommendation section, but it's consumed my life and I'm not mad about it.
good.
So going into the actual episode, Spy Family. This has a lot of emotionalness to me because I don't mean to brag, but I saw the real Lloyd Forger in
Oh,
real life.
oh, did
Because in Universal Studios Japan, I went on a secret spy mission where I had to go around the park and find out clues to get the secret word and to get a special show to see Anya and all of them. But fun fact, it was in Japanese and I Googled it and cheated. So I just went to the actual I waited a couple
you?
I waited a couple hours and then went to the thing and said the code word, which if you guys ever go to Universal Studio Japan, it's peanuts. Just to let you know. It's the code word is peanuts.
Okay.
Because they said it was so hard to translate and it's like almost impossible. But gosh, I wish I could have done the whole experience because they literally had like secret agents stashed around Universal Studios where you had to like go and get clues after clues. But I'm a big fat liar and a big fat cheater.
Chico's
At
is
least you
okay.
admit it.
I do. I do admit it. So
Confession cleans the soul.
it does. So guys, what was your first experience with Spy Family?
Um, I my son recommended this show to me, and I was like, no, this ain't. And he was like, watch it. And surprisingly, this was a very good show, and it really was touching. How they actually came together and bonded as a family, which was cute to me. Um, which also speaks to my whole thing about family systems, which I
Hmm.
also love.
What
Mm.
about you, Christian? What was your experience when you watched this?
Yeah, about a couple years ago when I was catching up on everything that was in Shonen Jump, I learned they also had a Jump Plus thing, which is additional manga that they publish. So I was doing that, saw Spy Family, fell in love immediately. And then when the anime came out, I was like, oh, even better. I get to see it actually in motion.
Oh, okay. So
I
you read
love
the
the series.
manga before the anime.
I am caught up all the way to the current manga.
Okay,
Okay,
that's exciting.
it is.
So, in case you guys might have lived under a rock, if you just thought we were going to be talking about like the Spy Kids, actual like where Junie Cortez and stuff, we are not talking about them. We are talking about a different Spy Family. I would dare say a better Spy Family. I know, unpopular opinion. I just love this anime so much. So it takes place in a fictional world, and it kind of makes you think of like the Cold War era. There's a war going on between these two countries. And so we have a spy named Twilight, and he's the best of the best. He's pretty much James Bond.
Mhm.
Like I would even say better because people don't even know his real like they know nothing about him except Twilight, he's the best. And so he gets an impossible mission to get close to I don't even think he's a military personnel. Is he a politician, the target? Remind me.
He was the former prime minister, I think.
Okay, yep, so politician. So yeah, former prime minister, but this dude only shows up to like a couple of events a year, and it just so happens to be for like his kids' school.
Mhm.
Well, Twilight being his single self, he's the best spy solo, but now he has to undertake his hardest mission yet, which is to go get a kid. Not only a kid, he has to go get a whole wife because back it's kind of taking place in that like time and age where it's not acceptable or respectable to have like a kid without a mom. You know, he's trying to make this perfect family image. So, do you guys remember a little bit about like tell me about Anya and his wife? That's the daughter and his wife Yor. What are your thoughts on
Yes.
them?
So he goes off to find, the perfect daughter to for the scenario, and Anya, who is about 2 years younger than what he suspects, can read other people's minds. So the crossword puzzles that he gives to, like, see who's the smartest kid here, she knows the answers because he knows the answers. So making her think she's actually smart when she's actually about as dumb as bricks.
Oh my
But
gosh,
she's
so
working on
dumb.
it.
She's so cute though.
Yeah, she is.
Yes. Then we have Yor, who becomes the eventual wife. Like she is working as an assassin to keep peace within the nation, like killing off the riffraff. Um, and she is at that age. The older you get, the more suspicious is. Why aren't you married? What's wrong with you? Like we should probably look into your life. So in order to do that, she does agree to become Lloyd's wife. Nothing at this point in time, nothing actually romantic about it, but that's
Right.
moving as we
So
go.
remind me, they're on Lloyd and Yor, they're on the same team technically, fighting for the same country, they're just in different organization, right? So Yor is like cleaning up the underground kind of, and Twilight is helping like the government.
Yeah,
I've always been
yeah.
confused.
Lloyd is like working for the opposing country. He is from the opposing country. They had his war back a while ago. There's this
Okay.
Cold War between them now, and he's making sure that peace remains in this country. That's why he wants to go to the Desmonds to, get closer to him so that war doesn't break out. Because uh, the head Desmond, can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he could easily ratchet it up again.
Okay. So they're still protecting peace with the same thing. Got it. So Kino, I was excited that Kino got asked to join me because you're I think the only host with a wife and daughter, right?
No, I don't have. I don't
You
have.
don't have a daughter, you
I
just
don't
have
have. Daughters.
son.
I have boys, and
Boys.
God
I thought you
does.
had one of each. I thought you had well, but you're still Josh has a wife, but anyway, we're just going there. I think Will has a daughter now that I'm thinking about it. I'm just tail spinning, but it's fine. I was still excited. So tell us, Kino, about this idea of having the facade of a perfect family, like perfect wife, perfect kids, kind of like wanting to be impressive, but also under the radar. Have you ever felt that pressure from society?
Oh no, you asking the wrong one because I am who I am, and I don't care about how what people think about me. But my wife, on the other hand, is more concerned about appearances and things of that nature. But to the dynamics with her and myself, because I am mm, abrasive and
Mm-hmm.
tell it like it is. And my wife is uber sensitive. So I have to learn to navigate let me say not navigate, but tail back my abrasiveness and become a little more soft around the edges. That's only, we've been married, it'll be 18 years in August. Or is it 19? I think it's 19 years in August. And it's maybe the last 3 years that my rough edges started to get smoothed out. I started paying attention, everything. But the whole thing is you have to keep the integrity of the relationship going while also working on your quote unquote mission, which is just to better yourself. But it's a dance that you have to navigate especially when you have kids involved, because the kids are they're saboteurs of your relationship. Just let's just be real. The kids will mess up your relationship, um, and and it's not intentional, but that's just how they are because they always needing something from you anyway. Just like Anya, who wants these two to really be together, even though she know both their secrets. Um, and it's just the desire for just to be a cohesion. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, especially now because my sons are teenagers and they're at this age where they can talk back in cohesion and argue with you and type things. But
And they have logical, like, arguments. Like, I find that with some of my students at school, they make solid points, and I'm like,
they do, they do.
"Gosh, you are
Mm.
almost right, but I'm not gonna admit it, and I'm just gonna pull the power cord right now." It's like, "Shut up and sit down."
Yeah. And then the other thing is that we've become more open to listening to our son's criticism of us, because we don't know it all. We don't have all the answers, and so a lot of times when if there's any issues or conflicts or like something with their grades or schooling, we'll bring them in and ask them what do they suggest. Because again, I'm abrasive, so my whole thought process is I'm taking everything out your room, taking your phone, taking your gaming system, none of that stuff. But my wife was like, no, give him a chance, and so
That's funny.
that's a balance. We have that's it. Really is a balance, though.
Christian, if you had to, like, since you're single and you found a mission, like, you have to marry this person, like, how would you even go about accomplishing this mission of trying to form these ties?
The world is doomed. I have no game plan. Like, the world's gonna die, you better hope everything's right with Jesus, because nuclear explosion's happening tomorrow.
Right, it's like, "No, we pre-failed this mission."
Yep. It's like, I mean, it would be an act of God for that to work with me as your main pro tag.
Well, and I just think because I can't Kino, I'm similar to you, I can't fake things, if I am not into a conversation. I mean, y'all have seen my faces on a lot of these recordings, and if when I'm zoned out, I'm zoned out, you know? And I'm unapologetic, so just to think, yes, he's a spy, but he's so used to doing everything on his own. And I feel like we can associate that with a lot of things that we do. Like like in group projects in school, like, no, let me do it. Let me rise and follow myself. But with Twilight, he can do everything right, but that doesn't matter because he has the ticking time bomb of Anya, who, as Christian said, is dumb as rocks. And you have the ditzy Yor. She's like a master assassin, but she's so ditzy and she can't cook. And it's hilarious watching the show. It makes me laugh so much. Have you guys seen season 2? Any?
Yes.
No, I haven't.
Okay, I've only seen a little bit. I feel like, do you feel season 2 kind of went a little downhill, Christian?
It finally gave us some your episodes, which is something it was really lacking in, so I appreciate that. But yeah, at this point in time when I was reading the manga, I was a little more down on it than usual, but it has since raised up the
Yeah,
stakes
it's
pretty
it's
well.
still great. I think they changed the voice actors. That's what my husband said. I even got my husband to watch this anime. And so if I can get I think this is another reason why I love it. We actually when we were chilling in Japan, since we were doing Universal Studio, and this was one of the highlights I wanted to do of the whole trip, be a cheat and steal the secret code, which is kind of like a spy if you think
Yes,
about
that's
it. Yeah, I'm just practicing. So I made him watch the anime in our downtime since we were so jet lagged. We'd wake up at like 4 a.m. and I'm like, yeah, watch this, watch this, watch this. So my husband actually watched it with me, which was very sweet. But he noticed the voice actors, I guess, changed in the second season. Do you know anything about that, Christian? Because I'm half deaf, so I can't hear.
Yeah, I have not paid attention to that. I'm like
I
the least
didn't either.
observant person in the world.
Okay, but
It would have to be really jarring for me to notice.
I feel like the second season, and let me know if the manga is like this. It went more to the humor side than the mission side. Would you agree?
Yeah,
Mhm.
I would agree to that. Like, but that's also something that when they get to season 3, there's gonna be some more, like what Lloyd's backstory is and how that fits into the mission and stuff like that. So there's a lot I'm looking forward to.
Right. Keno, if you had a daughter, since You're the only one who can keep children alive that we know of in this group. Um, I've never tried it, so I don't know. Like in my experience with my plants, they all die. So
Mine,
since you
mine too, so don't feel bad.
so if you ended up adopting a daughter like Anya, what do you think your reaction would be? Because you don't care about picture perfect, so you don't care about the mission, but just Anya's personality. Like she's so crazy, but so cute.
Yes, so that's where I would fail in the cuteness of it all. Um, because even though, like, I don't have daughters, but I have nieces and I have homeboys who have daughters, and I know how I would be with a daughter. My wife would kill me because I would give her anything she wants.
Oh, you already know.
Oh yeah, automatic. Because I'm the total antithesis when boys. I'm like, no, y'all ain't getting anything. You don't need anything. You can cook for yourself, you can clean for yourself. I'm not fixing you no food. You can fend for yourself. Now, my daughter on the hand, even if she was 25 and came home and said, "Dad, can you make me something?" I'll get up and do it, even if I'm tired. I kid you not.
Dang. His imaginary daughter has him wrapped around his finger.
Already.
Dang.
Yeah,
That's impressive.
yeah.
And it's crazy because we see Twilight, he starts picking up that and he starts getting wrapped around like Anya's finger and even Nora because he starts having that desire of wanting to be a good husband. And it starts off as like we need to put a good facade in for the family, but then you kind of see that character growth of like he actually wants to make Yura and Anya happy. So I ship them, obviously.
Which will happen as you progress in your relationships, even if it's a fake relationship. Feelings will occur. Feelings you will attain, you will eventually get feelings. Even if you had a baby and you're like, I don't know what to do with this baby, but you look at the baby like, oh my gosh, this baby's so cute. I love it forever.
Right. I mean, look at arranged marriages. Arranged marriages, not like from last time I looked, like their statistics was way less divorce rates than what we choose when we choose our own partners, just because usually the parents have your best interest in mind, values aligned. But really any relationship is a choice of if you want to work on it or not.
Yes, and the fact is that these two, even though it's a mission, are also working on their relationship. They actually spend time together. They go shopping, they cook, and all that other stuff. Like those things, actually, the little things actually build up over time. That makes you want to be more connected.
Mm.
Not
What
supposed to be.
how do you think the anime would go, Christian, if they were honest up front, if there was no secrets? If Anya was like, I can actually read minds.
Oh, it would raise a lot of questions for Lloyd. He's already super paranoid, and then he knows his wife is an assassin working with that country. His daughter is a telepath, so she knows how many of his secrets does she know? Like that would tear the family apart if he doesn't have the relationship that he does with them now. I think eventually he's going to reach the point that these things are going to come to light. Everyone's going to find out who the others are, but they're going to stick together. Maybe there'll be a trial period where they split up for a bit, but that's when they'll actually come as a team and be a real family, is because they spend all that time working to become a family.
Mhm. What
Yeah.
do you think, Kino? Do you think the same as Christian? They'll fall apart and come back together?
No, no, they would not come back together only because the secrets and the embarrassment and the shame tied to it will prevent them from coming back together. Like literally,
Mm,
that's normally what happens with secrets anyway. They stop us from building connection, and the only way they could be reconciled if everyone had desire to continue on. But in when you find out somebody knows your secrets, you're like, we ain't talking no more because you can't hold nothing in no water. I don't trust you. I don't. It's true. Once trust is gone, then that's it's hard to build it back up. It can happen, but it's hard to build it back up.
yeah,
So
I
I
remember this is like just my trust wasn't really broken, but I remembered my husband and this was before we even got engaged, but we were dating like 4 years. And then I found out like he called on his like he was about to graduate high school and there was like someone I guess he had like he always wondered like what if, because when you date someone you kind of like you're like, oh, I wonder what my relationship like would be with this person if I wasn't dating. And so then I found out he like gave her a phone call and was like, it's like, is anything like would have happened. And I just remembered feeling so betrayed over a phone call, like I questioned everything. I'm like, do you even like me? Granted, this was probably 19-year-old Liz, so way down the road, and then we ended up getting married 2 years later. But I just remembered like that feeling of betrayal. So then you take that feeling times to the umpteenth power. But then I wonder how it would feel because everyone's betraying each other. So it's not like one person's innocent
Correct.
and one person's, they're all guilty of a secret.
Correct.
And
Um,
it's going to come out. We just don't know when.
yes. But the fallacy is that your betrayal is also amplified by the lies you tell yourself.
Interesting
So
thought.
what I'm getting at is like, you know how people think bad things happen and then bad things eventually happen. Like
Hmm.
what you're really doing is you're just looking for the bad things and you're ignoring the good things. So, and
True.
that's what really happens. So when there's betrayal and trust that's involved, I know some folks who are going through issues in relationships, cheating and things like that, and all they are focusing on is the negative stuff, ignoring everything else is good. But I'm not saying you can't focus on that, but it's also amplified by how you feel about
Dang, yeah, that's a good point. You always find what you're looking for.
it.
And so just me personally, I've been like kind of in a depressive state like this past week. Just a lot of things have been going wrong. And so I keep on finding wrong things. And so the other, it was like last night and this morning, my husband was like, nope, we're playing worship music. He's been putting on like these, like, preaching on the TV in the background and stuff just to like refocus my mind. He's like, no, you're looking at the wrong things. You need to focus this and this. And then I do feel better today, but it's because my focus is now more positive and edifying things.
Yeah, that's how it
So
works.
it's a great point.
Oh,
Christian,
Yes.
if you had a daughter like Anya, would you also be wrapped around her finger?
I have had the immense blessing, working with my mom. My mom has watched a bunch of other kids at our house since I've been little. So I grew up with a lot of extra brothers and sisters. And most of the time, I tend to gravitate towards the girls. And whenever they ask me something, it's the same thing as Keno. It's like the boys, I'll be a little nicer than Keno. I may give them something, but the girls, it's no question. It's like, whatever you want. You're the most sweet thing in the world. I'm gonna look after you. You're my number one. That's like my niece right now. I couldn't imagine the first time she ever asked me to do something and I ever say no to her and I break her heart. I can't do that to her. Even though I know it's probably better for her to say that. It's gonna hurt me.
Dang. That's interesting. Okay, so I'm just preparing now. If I have a daughter, I'm gonna lose my husband,
you are.
which I'm perfectly okay with. Perfectly okay with. But I mean, we haven't talked about the most important character yet in this anime. It's Bond. Bond came in season 1, right? I
Um,
think so. I'm pretty sure he came in
if he
season
did, it
1.
was the tail end.
Yeah, he came near the tail end. And guys, for those who do not know, Bond is the fluffy white dog who just happens to be able to see glimpses into the future. I mean, what a great time. And then Anna can kind of read Bond's mind, so she can actually see a little bit into the future now. And it's just like, what more do you add to this crazy family? But I guess it's not psychic, but like see into the future dog.
Prophetic dog.
Yeah, there we go, a prophetic dog. And he's so big and fluffy, and if I get another dog, Imma name him Bond. It's after, Bondsman, which is Anya's favorite TV show. Uh, so she's, like, loving she feels like her whole life is a movie, and we haven't really gotten into Anya's, like, tragic backstory of, like, how she became, a psychic and stuff like that, but it's been, like, alluded, and I just know it's gonna break everyone's heart because Anya's, like, the sweetest little girl ever who just wants a family. And I feel like if anyone's listening to this episode, we should think about adopting all the little girls for Anya's sake. No, not really. I mean, if that's your call, maybe that's your sign of if you were thinking about adopting. But it's always been mine and my husband's heart to adopt one day. And so here's to me hoping to get a little telepathic Anya. It could happen, right?
You don't want that. You
I
don't
don't
want
want
that.
that.
You don't want her knowing your thoughts. That's
You're
that's the
right.
thing.
Yeah,
Because
because
I be wanting to kill mine.
Are
Okay,
you saying
Uh,
parents can lie to their kids, Keno? You would
all,
never.
all the time, all the time, all the
No.
time. No, I'm just playing. I don't lie to my kids. Funny enough, and please forgive me if I offend anyone, but I've always told my kids the truth about Christmas, so they never knew that they. I always told them it was me and their mother buying gifts. There's no Santa Claus, and
Right,
but I
that's a
had but
preference.
but I had to tell them, don't tell your friends that though, because
Right.
we don't want you to hurt anybody else's feelings.
yeah.
Yeah,
Makes
no,
sense.
yeah.
Makes sense. Well,
Well,
guys.
but let me say this though,
Mhm.
it's a delicate balance being a parent, only because you're trying to protect your child from the quote unquote bad world, but
Mhm.
also the issue is that you have to allow them to experience certain things. So I'll give you a great example. Like my son got a notice that he was about to get kicked out of his program because he was failing.
Oh,
And that funny, interesting enough, we had a conversation the week prior to saying that he was like he wanted to get out of it. He wanted to quit. And lo and behold, when the teacher tells him, "Hey, you about to get kicked out," he's like, "I want to stay. I want to do everything I want to do." That's fine. Do it. Because I'm not going to do your work for you. I got my own stuff to do.
yeah, makes sense. I mean, you definitely want to not handicap the kids, but set them
But a
up
lot, but
for.
a lot of parents do because they don't want their kids to experience anything bad. But
Yeah.
that's how they grow.
And being teaching high school right now, you can tell the kids who's been in a bubble or the parents handled everything for them versus the kids who fell flat on their face and they had to figure it out. Like
Yeah,
it's a world of
It's
difference.
so easy.
it
And so
is.
I'm just so curious how like Twilight, he's read all the parenting books. And I'm sure as Keno, you can attest, you cannot put parenting in a book at all.
No, no, because every child is different.
Mhm.
And what I've learned, I can't remember who told me this, but maybe I read in a book, but the parent that you had is not the same parent that your siblings had.
Oh, that's a good point because you grow and develop with each kid.
You do, and the circumstances, the situations are different. Like my youngest son, he's a genius, but I'll never tell him that. I would never
I'm gonna
admit
send
to
him this
him.
episode. I'm gonna send it.
That's
I'm gonna
fine. That's fine, and I'll deny everything. but
It's a deep fake.
he's actually a genius. But I would never tell him that because then he'll use that over his brother,
mm,
Mhm.
which he has done on inadvertently. But then with my oldest, I have to affirm him as the oldest because he just he just don't feel like he can do certain things. But I'm like, you can do whatever you want to do. You just got to believe what you is possible. But again, it's those dynamics of knowing that you have a smart child and knowing you have a child who is having self-esteem issues, and how do you parent them different facets, but also keep them together in the same household.
wow. Christian, I feel like we're learning so much. Write this down.
Yeah.
Write this down.
You learn from the master.
Right, honestly,
I
though,
am no
that's
master. I am no
could you
master.
imagine, like, on top of your family having to keep the secret as a spy from your wife and kids? And I feel like Lloyd is gonna have, like, some kinda mental break down the road. And that you're if you haven't watched season 2, I'm not really spoiling anything, but
It's
she's
fine.
already having kinda like a torn between wanting to, like, be an assassin and wanting to be a mom
Mm.
and, like, a wife and stuff like that. So she we're already seeing her, like, conflict within, like, the 2 worlds she's living in. So,
But funny enough, I'm sorry, Christian, but
oh, you're good.
here's a jewel. You don't have to fight. You don't have to stop being who you are. You just got to find time to do those things.
Just find time to
That's really what it is. Because even though I'm a dad to my kids, I listen. I love to play. Like I'm playing Red Dead again, Red Dead Redemption 2. I'm playing it all over again. I love anime. I read the Bible. I preach. I'm pastoring. I'm working. I'm in school. All of these things, but it's how you manage yourself. But the problem that we have is we're trying to be everything to everybody and not to ourselves.
mhm. That's good. Alright, so I'll be an assassin by day, mom by night.
There you go.
Done.
Yeah,
I believe me. I
you,
believe in me.
you can do it.
So Christian, Kina, do you guys have anything else to say about the anime before we wrap up and start about our recommendations?
I do, but I know we're all pressed for time. So
No,
if
you're
you want to
good.
blame everyone, blame me. I can take it.
I don't have anything else. This is a good. Again, this is a interesting show to watch, especially if you look at the family dynamics and how they're working to build together, but also do their own individual things outside of the family, which a lot of people have struggled in doing because a lot of folks feel like their whole identity is wrapped up in their kids, but it's not. You still a person. You still
Right.
have you're still who you were. And once the kids are gone, then what happens? Like I don't know what I'm doing in my life. I'm empty nest. I'll be happy when they leave. You hear me?
That's so funny. Imma send this to your kids.
That's fine. And I've told them anyway. Okay, I've told them I can't wait till y'all get out. Okay.
So fun.
Did remember something.
Okay.
In regards to Lloyd breaking, I think there are 2 times you're gonna be very happy. One is because of a loss, one is because of win and a loss, and his reactions are pretty well worth it seeing
Ooh,
that.
I
I
might
can't
read
wait
the
to see him
manga
animated.
now. I might read the manga now and catch up so we can geek out on manga mustard down the road, Christian. So I think
Okay,
I'm gonna
okay.
start that. All right, real quick. I know you have to go in a little bit to go to class. So Christian, give us your recommendation.
If you want some humor, spy fiction that doesn't take itself too seriously, may not be the most safe for work thing in the world, check out Danger 5. It's an Australian production of, what if, you know, World War II continued into the 60s. It's a spoof of the spy genre. It's a ton of fun. It's like
Interesting.
only so many episodes. It's so dumb, but I love it.
Hey, you need the dumb stuff just to give yourself a mental break. That's what I'm
Yep.
finding. What about you, Kino? What do you recommend
So I'm
to
gonna
the
recommend something my niece turned me on to, which is with Snow White with the red hair, which is
Oh, that's a
cute.
rom-com.
Yes, it is. And I was surprised. I was like, "Oh, this is cute. I like this." So yeah, I am. I've been turned on to this rom com, and I'm excited to try to finish it.
Okay, very cool. And I mentioned it with my geeking out, so I just have to since I literally watched I was like a little depressed this weekend. So I literally watched a whole season in a day. So it just be like that sometimes, you know. So the Rising of the Shield Hero. It's pretty much it feels like a RP, like a role playing anime, but the guy gets taken from his modern day world in Japan, and he goes into he's pretty much summoned to be a hero, and he finds out the world he's in is very much like a game, but it's not a game.
I think
It's
I've
actual
seen
people's lives. And so he, of course, there's four heroes, the spear hero, the sword,
that.
the
I've seen
archer,
that.
and the shield. Have you? Okay, don't tell me crap. Don't tell me anything because
Oh,
Yes.
that's
it's an older
awesome.
one.
I
I'm
will
just
keep
jumping
I
on.
will
Go
keep
ahead.
my opinions to myself because I'm sure I would break your heart.
I have a feeling. I have a feeling it's going to be like Sword Art Online, and it's going. I'm not even looking at the screen right now, but I have a feeling it's going to break my heart with how it goes because I'm in season 2, and I already see it going a little like down. And but
Oh,
yeah,
slow down, she says.
but I'm not looking at the screen. I'm not looking at the screen. But the Rising of the Shield Hero, I'm liking it so far because I like that the guy, I love a good underdog, and this guy was summoned as the Shield Hero, which everyone hated, and they framed him and they bashed him. But now, guess who's the best? I'm not. I'm still not looking at the screen. Uh,
I have many criticisms for that, some of which were some inspirations for my 4th novel, The
wow. Well, okay.
Collection
Well,
Knife.
maybe when Joshua hears this, we might have to do once I'm done. Okay, tell me this: Is the anime all completed, or am we waiting for season 4?
No, there's still plenty of volumes to be released. It
That's
has
what
been
I like.
announced season 4 is coming.
Okay, well, at least it's coming. I would say I hate when that happens. Whenever you like binge 3 seasons in like 2 weeks and then you just have to wait 2 years for season 4.
Yeah.
Ugh, it's fine. But that's what I'm geeking out on. I guess maybe do a little bit of research before you take my recommendation. Maybe private message Christian or Kino and they can tell you a little bit
Girl,
more about
like
it.
what you like. I just have
Yeah.
criticisms, a lot of
That's
criticisms.
that's funny. I can't wait to hear them once I'm caught up. So we'll all three reconvene after this. Well, guys, thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed this, make sure you rate and review on the Podchaser, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whichever platform you listen to your podcast. Thank you again for our Patreons. We love you. We appreciate your support. There will be a bonus question that I'm not going to think of right now for you in 2 seconds, but there will be a bonus question after this, just as a special thanks and continue to hang out with us. Um, Make sure you join our Discord if you haven't already. Continue the conversation with Christian, Kino, and I about how Shield Hero is going. Once again, guys, thank you again for listening. Remember, we are all a chosen people, a geekdom, a priest.